1. Introduction. My name is Tina. I was 25 years old when my life changed. I lived in a small apartment in a busy city. I shared my home with my older brother, Mark. Mark was always very protective of me. He was a good brother, often funny, but sometimes very serious. We had lived together for many years, and he always looked out for my safety and happiness. Our life was simple and calm. One evening, Mark came home and was not alone. He brought a friend with him. This was the first time I met Tony. Tony was very tall, with dark hair and a strong, handsome face. His eyes were dark too. They held a look that was both mysterious and very attractive. When he smiled, I felt a strange feeling in my chest. My heart started to beat faster than usual. There was something wild and different about him. He spoke in a low, soft voice, but his eyes seemed to tell many stories without words. Mark introduced us quickly. "Tina," he said, "this is Tony. He is helping me with some business." Tony stepped closer and shook my hand. His hand was warm and strong. "Nice to meet you, Tina," he said. His voice was deep and full of confidence. I felt a strong pull towards him right away. It was a feeling I had never experienced before. I liked his mysterious way. That night, after Tony and Mark had finished their conversation and Tony had left, I went to my room. But I could not sleep. I lay in my bed for a long time, thinking only about him. I kept seeing his face and hearing his voice in my mind. His smile, his mysterious eyes, his confident manner, everything about him stayed with me. I felt a strong attraction, a feeling I could not ignore. It was a powerful and new emotion. I did not know it then, but this meeting was the start of everything. This man, who made my heart race with excitement, would soon bring many changes to my life. This was the beginning of my story, a story that would teach me many things about love and life. I had no idea what was waiting for me. This first meeting marked the moment when my calm life began to change forever. 2. A dangerous man. After that first meeting, Tony started coming to our home more often. He and my brother, Mark, would often talk about business. I did not really understand what kind of business they had, but it seemed important to them. Tony often stayed late into the evening. After Mark went to bed, Tony and I would talk for a long time, sometimes for hours. These were often late-night conversations, and I learned more about him with each passing night. He told me many stories about his life and experiences. He talked about traveling to different places, sometimes far away. He said life had been very hard for him, and he had to fight for everything he had. He made his own way in the world, facing many challenges. His stories were always exciting and full of adventure, making him seem like a character from a book. He was very different from any other man I had met before. He seemed strong, brave, and carried a sense of mystery that drew me in. I found myself listening to his every word, wanting to know more about his complex world. I noticed he had tattoos on his arms, with dark designs that hinted at a past full of stories. There was also a small scar on his neck, which made him seem even more intriguing and perhaps a little dangerous. He had a way of looking at me that made my heart beat fast, a deep gaze that seemed to see right through me. I felt a strong pull towards him, an immediate and powerful attraction. His presence filled the room, and I felt happy and alive when he was there. One night, during one of our late conversations, he looked at me with very serious eyes. His voice became low. He said, "Tina, you should not get too close to me. I am not a good man. My life is complicated, and it is not a life for someone like you. I can be dangerous." His warning did not scare me. Instead, it made me feel even more interested in him. I did not believe he was truly bad. I thought he was just a man who had a difficult past and had been hurt. I believed he was misunderstood by others, and that I was the only one who saw his true, kind heart. I started to think that I could help him. I truly believed that my love could heal him. I imagined that I could change his life for the better, making him leave his past behind. I thought my feelings for him were strong enough to fix everything broken inside him. I did not see the real truth. I did not understand that he was involved in something very dark and perhaps even illegal. My feelings for him were growing stronger every day, and I wanted to be close to him, no matter what he said about himself. I felt like I was the only person who truly understood him, and that made me want to be with him even more. I was falling deeper in love with the idea of saving him, ignoring the warning signs. 3. My brother's warning. Mark started to see changes in me. My eyes would often light up when Tony's name came up in conversation. I often smiled at my phone, waiting for his calls. Mark watched me very carefully. He saw how I looked at Tony when he visited our home. He noticed that I was falling deeply for his friend. He did not like it. One evening, Mark called me to the kitchen. His face was very serious. He looked at me with sad eyes. "Tina," he began, his voice quiet, "we need to talk about Tony." My heart beat faster. I knew what he would say. "You are spending too much time with him," Mark said. "You like him a lot, don't you?" I did not answer him directly, but my face clearly showed the truth. Then Mark's voice became strong. "Tina, please listen to me. You must stay away from Tony. He is not what you think he is. He is a very dangerous man." His words hit me hard. I felt a wave of anger rise inside me. How could he say such terrible things? He did not understand our special connection, I thought. He did not know the real Tony. I spoke quickly, my voice rising. "You do not know him, Mark. You only see what you want to see. He is kind to me. He listens to me. He cares about me more than anyone else." I defended Tony with all my heart. My brother shook his head slowly. "Tina, you are wrong," he he said again. He is involved with very bad people. He works with the mafia. These people hurt others. Tony will hurt you too. He will break your heart. I could not believe what Mark was saying. Mafia. It sounded like a story from a movie, not real life. No, I shouted. You are just trying to control my life. You do not want me to be happy. I felt very upset and angry. I told Mark that I loved Tony. I said I was a grown woman, 25 years old. I could choose my own path. I could choose who I wanted to love. Mark looked at me for a long moment. His eyes were full of pain and sadness. He did not say anything more. He just turned and walked away from me. I felt a small sense of victory. I had stood up for my love, but deep down, a tiny part of me felt a cold fear. I pushed it away quickly. I chose to believe in Tony. I chose to believe in our love. I chose him over my brother's serious warnings. I did not know this choice would lead me into a very dark and difficult place. I did not see the trap I was walking into with open eyes. For a different world. Tony started to show me a new kind of life. It was very different from my old one. We went to many fancy restaurants. The food was always special and delicious. He bought me expensive gifts, like beautiful jewelry and new clothes. When he gave them to me, I felt very happy. He made me feel special and loved. We drove in his car to many new places. Sometimes the drives were long and we talked for hours. I enjoyed these moments with him a lot. It felt like I was living in a dream, far away from my everyday life. I truly believed this was what real love felt like. However, this new life also had a difficult side. Tony often disappeared. He would leave for days without telling me where he was going. He never explained why he had to go. I felt worried and alone when he was not there. My phone stayed quiet and I waited for his calls. Sometimes I felt very sad. When he finally came back, I asked him where he had been. I wanted to understand. He would only smile a little. He told me, "Do not ask questions if you do not want the answers." His words made me feel uneasy. I did not like his mysterious answers, but I loved him and I did not want to lose him. So I tried to ignore these warning signs. I told myself that it was just part of his interesting personality. I believed that one day he would tell me everything. Then, one night, something happened that broke my heart. I went out alone to a bar. I was not looking for Tony. But then I saw him there. He was with another woman. She was very beautiful and wore a bright red dress. Tony was laughing with her, and he held her hand. My heart felt very cold and heavy. It broke into many small pieces. I could not believe what I was seeing. I walked closer to them. Tony looked up and saw me. He did not look surprised at all. He did not look sorry either. He just looked at me with no expression. My eyes immediately started to fill with tears. I felt a deep, sharp pain inside me. It was a pain I had never felt before. I wanted to run away and hide, but I stood there watching him. Later, I talked to Tony. I cried and asked him why he was with another woman. I wanted to understand everything. Tony was very cold. He did not show any emotion. He simply said, "This is how I am, Tina. If you cannot accept me for who I am, then you can leave." His words hurt me even more than seeing him with the other woman. I felt confused and lost. He was asking me to make a choice, to choose between the pain he caused and my love for him, but I loved him so much. For a moment, I thought about leaving him for good. But then, I remembered all the good times we shared. I remembered how special he made me feel. I told myself that love meant forgiveness. I truly believed he would change for me. I decided to stay with him. I forgave him. I wanted our love to work, and I hoped things would get better. I wanted to believe in him with all my heart. 5. The cost of love. Tony began to ask me for money. At first, the amounts were small. He would say he needed it for just a few days, promising to pay me back soon. I loved him, so I always said yes. I wanted to help him. I thought he was having a difficult time, and my love could make things easier for him. I believed in him, even when my heart felt a little unsure. It was easy to give him $50 or $100. He always smiled and thanked me, which made me feel good. I felt like I was truly part of his life, helping him through his problems. But soon, the small amounts grew larger. He started asking for hundreds, then thousands of dollars. He always had a reason, a story about a bad business deal or a problem he needed to fix quickly. I started to use my personal savings. This was money I had saved for many years for my future. I saw it disappear little by little. My bank account became almost empty. Each time he asked, I felt a knot in my stomach. A part of me knew this was wrong, but another part, the part that loved him, still hoped. I kept telling myself that this was the cost of helping someone you love. My brother, Mark, noticed. He saw how I was always tired and worried. He saw that I was spending less time with my friends and more time waiting for Tony. One evening, he came to my room. "Tina," he said, his voice serious, "Tony is using you. He is taking your money. You are blind to what he is doing." I felt a sudden anger. How could he say that? He did not understand our love. "You are wrong, Mark." I shouted, "He loves me. He just needs my help right now. He will pay me back." I defended Tony strongly, even though a quiet voice inside me was starting to agree with Mark. Inside, I was becoming very scared. When I sometimes said no, Tony's face would change. He looked cold and distant. Sometimes he would raise his voice, or he would simply leave for days without a word. These moments made my anxiety grow. I worried all the time. I stopped going out with my friends. I did not want to talk about Tony because I knew they would see what Mark saw. My world became small. It was only about Tony and his needs. I felt isolated, alone with my fear and my love. The cost of love was becoming very high. 6. The hard truth. It was late one night. I was at Tony's apartment. We had spent the evening together like many evenings before. Tony's phone began to ring. He was in another room for a moment. The phone kept ringing loudly on the table. I saw the screen light up. The name Anna appeared there. My heart started to beat very fast. A strange feeling came over me. I felt nervous and worried. I knew I should not answer it. But something made me pick up the phone. My hands were shaking a little. I pressed the green button. A woman's voice spoke quickly. "Tell Tony his money is ready," she said. Then she hung up. I stood there holding the phone. My mind went blank for a second. Then many thoughts rushed into my head. Money, mafia, drugs, lies. All the words my brother, Mark, had said to me. All the warnings he gave me about Tony. He told me Tony was dangerous. He told me Tony was involved in bad things. I had not wanted to believe him. I had closed my ears to his words. Now, the truth hit me hard. It was like a cold wave washing over me. Everything Mark had warned me about was true. Tony was not just a misunderstood man. He was part of a dark, illegal world. Tony came back into the room. He looked at me. My face must have shown everything. My eyes were full of tears. I held the phone tightly. I looked at him and said, I know everything." He did not look surprised. He did not try to deny it. He just stared at me with his dark eyes. "So, now you know who I really am," he said. His voice was calm, too calm. "Do you still love me, Tina?" His question was like a punch to my stomach. How could I love this person? The man who used me, who lied to me, who was involved in such bad things. The man my brother tried to save me from. Tears started to fall down my face. I shook my head slowly. "I loved you, Tony," I said, my voice quiet and broken. "But I cannot live like this. I cannot be part of this world." I turned to leave. I just wanted to get out. I wanted to run away from him and everything. But Tony moved quickly. He stepped in front of the door. He put his hand on my arm. His grip was strong. It hurt me. "You can't leave me, Tina," he said. His voice was no longer calm. It was hard and angry. "You are part of this now." His words froze me. My heart sank. I looked into his eyes. There was no love there, only coldness. In that moment, I understood. I was not free. I was not able to choose. I was trapped. I was caught in his dangerous world. My brother had been right all along. I had made a terrible mistake. I was truly stuck. 7. Leaving him. The realization that I was trapped in Tony's dark world stayed with me. I knew I had to leave. It was not an easy decision, but it was the only one. I started to plan my escape carefully. I watched Tony's movements. I waited for the right moment when he would be gone for a long time. My heart beat fast with fear, but also with a new hope. I had to be strong for myself. One afternoon, Tony left the apartment. He said he would be gone for many hours. This was my chance. My hands shook as I packed a small bag. I put in only a few clothes and important papers. I did not take much. I wanted to leave everything from that life behind. I looked around the apartment one last time. It had been a place of both joy and much sadness. Then I quietly opened the door and walked out. I did not look back. I took a bus to a city far away. I did not know anyone there, but I needed a new start. When I arrived, the first thing I did was buy a new phone. I got a new phone number. I wanted to cut off all ways for Tony to find me. I also deleted my social media accounts. I wanted to disappear completely from his life and his world. It felt strange to be so alone, but also safe. Before I threw away my old phone, I sent one last message. It was to my brother, Mark. I wrote, "I am sorry. You were right about everything. I am leaving him. Please do not try to find me for now." Sending that message was hard. I felt sad for hurting him, but also a little free. He had tried to help me many times, and I had not listened. Now I understood his warnings were true. Soon, Tony started calling my old number. He left many messages. He said he missed me. He said he would change. He promised many things, but I knew his words were not true. I had heard them before. I did not answer any of his calls. His voice brought back bad memories. After a few days, I blocked his number. I did not want to hear from him ever again. It was a difficult step, but it was necessary for my new life. In the new city, I found a small job in a bookstore. It was a quiet place, different from Tony's world. Every night after work, I sometimes cried. I remembered how deeply I had loved him. I remembered the pain he caused. I thought about all my mistakes. But with each tear, I felt a little stronger. I was learning to live again without him. I was learning to trust myself. This was the first step to my freedom. 8. My new life. Months passed slowly after I left Tony. Each day felt a little lighter than the last. I worked at the bookstore, met new people, and slowly started to feel like myself again. My new city was quiet, and I liked it that way. I walked a lot, exploring new streets and parks. The fear that Tony would find me slowly faded. I knew I had made the right choice, but a part of me still felt the pain of what happened. One evening, I was watching the news on a small television in my apartment. Suddenly, a familiar name appeared on the screen. Tony. My heart stopped for a moment. The news report said he was arrested. He was involved in serious illegal activities like money laundering and other bad business. My hands started to shake, just like they did when I first learned the truth about him. I sat there, staring at the screen. A wave of different feelings came over me. First, there was shock. Then a deep sense of relief washed over me. I realized how close I had been to that dangerous world. I could have been with him when he was caught. I could have been in trouble too, maybe even in prison. A quiet thank you left my lips, a feeling of gratitude for my escape. I thought about Tony. I remembered his charming smile, his deep voice, and all the lies he told. He took my money. He took my peace. He took my trust in people, but he did not take my spirit. He did not take my ability to start again. This difficult experience taught me a lot. It was a very hard lesson, but it showed me many important things. Now my life is simple and calm. I enjoy small things. On weekends, I go for long walks by the sea. I read many books from the bookstore where I work. I talk to new friends. Slowly, I learned to smile again, a real smile, not one I forced for Tony. I am building a new future for myself, one step at a time. This painful love taught me who I am and who I never want to be again. It showed me what kind of person to avoid in the future. I learned to trust my own feelings and to listen to the people who truly care about me, like my brother. I learned to be strong and independent. My new life is not full of fancy gifts or expensive dinners, but it is full of real peace and hope. I am free. I am safe. And I am ready for whatever comes next, with a much clearer understanding of myself and the world.